What up, man? It's your big brother K-Rino. I know y'all probably wondering why I got these lokes on this video. I put them on specifically to line up with the theme of this video that I'm making. Uh, it's never good to panic, and the lokes represent being cool. Keeping you cool. But on a serious note, man, it's never good to panic. A lot of times we make situations worse when we get in a situation, and the first thing that happens is we let our mind run away with us, and we start losing our composure and falling apart and crumbling and crying and hollering and screaming and panicking. um, Most situations, believe it or not, are not as extreme as we make them to be in our own mind. There are only a handful of moments in life where it's really serious, it's really critical. And even in those moments, you got to do your best to keep your cool, because the one thing about keeping your cool and not panicking is that is one of the qualities that give you the best chance of getting out of the situation or working your way through the situation. Um, it's never a good thing to panic, because your mind is going to be frantic. Your mind is going to be all over the place, and your decision making becomes affected simply because now you're all over the place, and you may um, impulsively make a move that is not in the best interest of getting the situation fixed. Some of the best people in any field, life, sports, business, whatever, um, they excel not necessarily because of the skill that they have, even though that's a major part of it, of course. They excel in big moments simply because they are able to slow down those moments while they are in the moment and assess it. While everything else is going a million miles an hour, everybody else is going a million miles an hour, they have slowed it down in their mind, and they are thinking through it and working through it to get it solved. And that doesn't mean you always succeed in it, but again, it gives you what I believe it gives you the best chance to get through it. I've rarely seen somebody fainting and falling out and hollering and tripping and stumbling through a situation, and it turns out good, unless somebody else comes through and takes control. For yourself, it's something that you got to practice. A lot of times you can practice it on small situations and just kind of work through it. Now, everybody's mind is not set up the same way. And there are some people, man, they have anxiety in certain moments. They have panic attacks in certain moments, and they just naturally lose their composure, and they're not able, you know, to process it the right way. While others seem to have more of a naturally calm demeanor, and you have people who uh, they may be wired up in regular situations, in lesser situations, but when it get tight, that's when they start to really bring it in and get it together. It just depends on how you set up. But I believe that everybody has the capacity to adopt that kind of mindset. But it is something you got to be conscious of and be aware of. I think a lot of times we get caught up in panic mode because we don't pre prepare. We don't prepare ourselves beforehand um, to possible scenarios, situations. Like what would happen if this happened? What would happen if I was in this bank and somebody came in here and robbed it right now? What would I do? Why would I? We don't really play out certain scenarios. Not that we want those things to happen, but you gotta kind of create the thought in your mind. So if there's a moment you have to walk into it, you can already be kind of versed up on how you may need to handle it. And you just study the movements of other people who may have been through certain things, who may have gone through certain things, because panic in a moment can also make you put yourself in a bad situation. You may overreact to a situation that's really not that serious and do something in rash moment and do something crazy that lands you locked up for the rest of your life, or make somebody take you out. You know, you done took somebody out, and then when you look back on it, you're just like, damn, it wasn't even that serious. It didn't even have to go to that level. So you have to know how to weigh and determine, you know, what's worth me going all out compared to me. Hold on, let me figure this out a different kind of way. And you know, that's again, it's a life practice. It's a lifestyle that you have to adopt, and a way of thinking that you have to adopt in order to train yourself. In order to train yourself to get through those kind of moments. So, and also, man, you know, everything is not always individual. So you may be in a particular situation just with you, and you flipping out and panicking and going crazy. And it's like, okay, well, but if you are in a situation that involves other people, you know, your group of friends and family, or your children, or your where other people's safety and other people's the other people depend on how you respond, then you got to know how to think through those types of situations, because especially if you are the leader, the so-called leader, because a lot of times if the head falls, then the body gonna fall. So if we haven't trusted our um, safety and situation and our well-being to you, and the first little moment that comes along, you lose it, you come unglued, it can affect everybody. You know, so now the guilt of an individual decision now is no longer individual decision. It's spread out among everybody, because oh man, I got my boys messed up, man. Oh man, I got my son messed up behind that, you know. So all of these things have to factor in, you know, when we navigate through our day on a daily basis, man. So you know, unfortunately, that's the kind of world we live in, where we gotta prepare ourselves for different things that could happen, and already walk through it in our mind, you know, how we would adjust to it, and deal with it. And I think, you know, it makes you better when you do things like that, man. So stop panicking, man. Stop freaking out. Calm down. Relax. Relax. And that gives you your best opportunity to make it through whatever it is you got to make it through. All right, man. It's your big brother K-Rino. I'll catch y'all with another one. Peace and love. All right.